Welcome to Information Literacy. My name is Dr. Jim Lotek, and I'm going to be your instructor for this class. This video is intended for the online version of the class. However, I'll probably keep it within the Information Cafe for people who missed the first day of the physical classes. First, what is information literacy? Information literacy is a class designed to teach you essentially how to do database research within EBSCO and find professional sources and academic sources to do your research. Too many people are relying on Google, and as you guys probably are aware, just because you Google it doesn't mean you're going to have the best results. Information literacy was born out of the concerns that librarians had when they seen the databases emerge and the internet. Because in the past, believe it or not, being a librarian was one of the most important academic fields you can be in. But what they said is, hey, what are we going to do when we're not here to help people find the appropriate research? And so they envisioned a world without librarians where everything was electronic, and this is the world that we're living in today. So what they basically came up with was this information literacy course that was designed to help you find the appropriate type of academic research, help you use the stuff you learn, and help you with a little bit of the technology and the ethical considerations involved in it. And that's why NU picked it up. Now keep in mind, in most colleges, they don't teach you this stuff. Most colleges throw you in the environment and it's sink or swim. You don't really have a chance to kind of figure out. As an example, this is how I was introduced to APA. On Friday, they said you have an APA paper due Monday. And I asked, what is APA? And basically they said, you look it up, it's due Monday. It's not a pleasant experience, and I'm going to teach you AP as part of this class, right? So it's going to help you a lot. But you're here to use academic research, not define just normal Google stuff. So again, I'm going to teach you to use Gale Virtual and EBSCO and so forth. This class is foundational, which is different than many of your other courses. Honestly, what happens in many college courses, you take a class, it's required, and the truth is you don't really care too much, or you're not invested in the class. The research is very clear in that within about 6 months of taking a class like that, 90% of the stuff that you are taught is gone out of your head. So again, I have no interest in trying to make you memorize a bunch of stuff that I know that you're not going to remember. That's just not who we are as people. And the reason that this is foundational is these skills that I'm going to teach you are used throughout your career and in your life. Even if you hate writing, and I know many of you feel that way, you're going to have to do resumes and cover letters. And again, people are going to judge you based on the quality of the writing that you create. I know that that's not really an accurate reflection of how smart you are, but unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. So information literacy is probably one of the most important courses that I believe that you're going to take, and I'm not exaggerating. This video is designed for the online courses. Keep in mind, doing an online course is different than doing the traditional face-to-face courses, which means you're going to have to do a lot of the work yourself. This can't be helped. Also, you're going to sometimes feel a little bit discomfortable. You're going to feel discomfort. Think of it this way. Many of you have taken college courses and you sat in the class and you don't feel any discomfort whatsoever. Essentially, you're learning nothing in those classes. If you learn something, you're going to be a little bit agitated. You're going to feel a little bit of discomfort. This is normal, and it's a good thing. This is what propels you to the next level, which is where I want you to go. Now, for the online courses, I don't want you to try to go ahead. And I don't want you to just wait to the end to turn everything in, because it's going to hurt you. So don't fall behind and don't go ahead. The reason that this is true is because you need information that I present in the SWAYs, and I'll talk about that shortly, in order to get to that next level. So think of the SWAY files as a book, because this course doesn't have a textbook that I can rely upon as a basic foundation. So everything is in the SWAYs and, of course, these videos. Next, there is a problem with the email. My preferred method of contact is my jameslotek@gmail.com. I'm very good about answering students' questions because I always have my phone, which has my Gmail with me. So again, I can just fire off answers as you're asking questions and so forth. For some reason, and I've seen proof of this, some people that have been sending emails through their NU email, I do not receive it, and it's not in my spam folder. And the reason that I know they sent it, because I have screenshots showing that they actually did. So just beware. Every time I get an assignment from you, I immediately, when I receive it, send you an email back. I reply saying that I got it. So if you don't get an email that says I got it, guess what? I didn't get it. And you're going to make sure you email it to me again and make sure that I do get it. So again, if you're going to try to get a hold of me, use my gmail.com. Next, Facebook is a good tool. And I know I have concerns with some of the privacy issues in Facebook as well. But I created a Facebook page based on input from students who asked me to actually create this. I don't do it for likes or anything like that. I do it for you. So what I'm doing is I'm delivering you the course content through an extremely convenient method through Facebook. You do not have to be a member of Facebook to access this information. So in order to get to the information of the class, all you have to go is, go to your browser, type www.facebook.com/information.cafe, and then hit return. And again, you do not have to be a member of Facebook. You'll just have to kind of minimize some of the little pictures saying, do you really want to join, and all this kind of stuff. So that's where these SWAY files and that's where these videos will be located. A SWAY file is essentially a glorified PowerPoint that can have videos embedded and can open up on any device. So it can open up on a PC, it can open up on a Mac, a tablet, a phone, a phablet, whatever you have, you can access these files. And again, so what's nice is you don't have to go into the NU Blackboard system to access this stuff. So again, I think that's a lot more convenient, and students have told me all the time that they prefer it this way. So that's what the Information Cafe is. So what I tend to do is I tend to post a video for each day of the class, and then there'll be a SWAY that I post that same particular day. For the online classes, I keep to the original calendar that would have been a physical class. The reason that I do this is I dish out the information that you need on a regular basis right to your email so that you can figure out, hey, what do I got to do today? What's next? So that you can keep up. So again, I also hand out, I will also email you daily handouts for each of those class days. Class day in the sense that's just the schedule that we're keeping to, so that make sure that you get it. One of the first things that you're going to want to do is make sure that your email is correct in Blackboard, because when I send out global emails with attachments to the class, it goes out through that system. So if you're not getting stuff, email me at myjameslowtech@gmail.com and tell me, hey, I'm not getting this or this, and I'll try to email you those again. So double check your email. Academic work is different than what most people do, especially at this level in classes. Truth be told, many of you rely on English 101, and English 101 is not helpful in academic writing. English 101 is about all this touchy-feely stuff that they care about. Nobody cares about your feelings in science. They care about your ideas. So again, completely different when you're doing academic writing. You can't use informal language, for example, so you have to up your style. And again, this is something I'm going to be teaching you through the course. So again, English 101 is not helpful. You are going to learn so much, and you are going to be grateful for this, because people make judgments about you based on your writing. One of the videos that I want to make sure that you watch is the video by Elaine Morgan. And basically what Elaine Morgan is talking about, something called aquatic theory. And my point isn't to push that agenda. My point is to show you that, guess what? Scientists who are supposed to be the best of us are people that they're intolerant, just like you and I are. And you're going to have to learn about this, because you are going to be reading academic literature from people that, guess what? They're humans and they're biased. The truth is, bias is who we are. It can't be removed from us. What we even pay attention to and how we think about problems is determined by our biases. Sometimes this helps us, but sometimes this can mislead you. So bias is a theme of the class that again, you'll want to watch the SWAYs for that. Now, so academic terms, what you don't want to do is do what most students do when they write a paper, and that's essentially BS their way through it. In academic writing, everything in the paper is there for a particular reason. And if it's not needed, it's deleted. Again, there's a reason that people want to publish in American journals, because we don't have the fluffy stuff. We try to cut stuff down to its essence. And that's a gift because you don't have infinite time. Think of it this way. What would you rather do? Read a 50-page article or a 20-page article? It's very simple. You want the short version so that you can get what you need. So again, I'm going to be teaching you how to use Gale Virtual and EBSCO, which are the primary tools that are used by academics when they're doing research. EBSCO is where the peer-reviewed literature reviews peer-reviewed literature exists. This is where people submit research through a board, and that board basically reviews that paper before it's even approved for publication. So if you have 4 people that you have to get through to publish something, all things equal, it's going to be higher quality. So again, it filters out the BS stuff. In this class, also, I would say you need to put the political correctness aside because sometimes the truth may offend you. And that's just the real world that we live in. I'll think of it this way. When I did my dissertation for my doctor, we actually did 4 dissertations. And I was a subject matter expert, and I was very conceited. I thought I knew everything. And so for all 4 of my dissertations, keep my 4.0 grade point average, all my coursework is done. I do these dissertations, and 4 for 4, I was wrong. So if you're not an expert, couldn't you be wrong? Now, when I first was wrong, I felt pretty bad about myself. But the truth is, now I don't have a dog in any hunt, and I can follow the data wherever I go. I just assume I'm going to be wrong, so I don't have any hurt feelings. And what that does is that liberates you. I'm not a slave to anybody because of that. I think for myself. So again, getting rid of those biases, or at least acknowledging that we have them, gives you the ability to think beyond yourself, which is what Einstein actually talked about, his approach. Now, the way this course is going to begin is, for today, I want you to start thinking about a topic that you have to use for your paper. It can be any topic that you want, but you have to do an analytical research paper in this class, which is different than most simple description or argument papers. You have to dissect things and see what's going on under the hood, what's causing them, what's affecting them, what processes are involved, and so forth. And we're going to talk about that more and more in the sways, and you're going to learn more about the types of papers each day. But watch the sway that I have on day 2 that talks about in detail this process. This will help you as well. Keep in mind, many students, they start wanting to do topic X, and that's great. But what they find is they end up changing their topic several times through the point, and there's nothing wrong with that. Keep in mind, this is normal. So don't expect that what you think you're going to start doing research is what you're going to end up doing the research on. So topics change. Now, when you determine something that's useful for you, what you want to do is make sure that this can some way help monetize your degree at some point. Think of it this way. If you're going to be a nurse, if every single class you do research on a particular aspect of nursing, for example, I'd probably start with nurse burnout because that's the first thing you're going to face. But like if you're going to be a pediatric nurse, maybe you want to do papers in each class on pediatric nursing in particular, so that when you sit down at that interview, you are the solution to the interviewer's problems. Instead of somebody that just says, I have a degree, I sat in class, and I'm cute, hire me. Again, it doesn't work this way anymore. There's been too many BS degrees out there given, and even the employers know now they're giving tests to make sure you can actually do stuff. So again, you're going to have to deliver. Ultimately, the direction you go depends on what you find in the academic research, which is kind of the reality test of where you want to go, and I'll explain that more as we progress. On the first week, which is Sunday night, you're going to have an intro due. And basically, all you got to do is follow the instructions. It's in the assignment guide that's emailed to you after the syllabus. And just answer the questions. You know, what's the topic that you're planning to do? What's your hypothesis, your research questions, and so forth. Again, these are things that I talk about in the day 1 sway. So you want to make sure you pay attention to that. What you're going to find in EBSCO, and that's what day 2 is about, is library day. EBSCO is the database, again, for peer-reviewed journal articles. And you're going to be able to navigate that at the end of this class. This is where most academics go when they need research. As an academic, if you lose access to EBSCO, it's like getting both your arms and both your legs cut off. It's that important. But before you determine which way you want to go on the paper, you're going to need to know some basic preliminary information. Now, I'm not talking about folk wisdom, which is where most people start. I'm talking about what the experts give you as far as an orientation on the topic, which will give you an idea of the importance of the problem you're trying to resolve forever. That's what Gale Virtual is about. And again, day 2 we'll talk about that. So Gale Virtual is big picture stuff. Think about it as Wikipedia for academics, whereas EBSCO is where the detailed research actually exists, where you can use that to solve your particular problem. At the end of that process, when you answer those questions me Sunday night, I'm going to give you an output. I'm going to basically say, based on what you told me you want to do research on, what would be a title for your paper? And usually I give you a couple options on this. It's up to you because ultimately this is your paper. Keep in mind, in an academic paper, you do not have fluffy and creative titles. So you need to ditch those. So get those out of your head. Academic titles are descriptive only, because if you don't use descriptive terms, nobody will ever find your research in EBSCO to actually read it. So again, once I give you the title, guess what? I give you the keywords to do your search and start your journey in EBSCO, which will be next week. After you get that process underway, and again, next week, what you're going to be doing is creating an annotated bibliography. That's the main purpose of that week. An annotated bibliography is a summary, is in essence, of all your major articles, one page each, and it's alphabetized in order, and it's usually one document. The purposes vary from class to class, but I'm showing you how to do one to help people write papers, which is what it was originally intended for. So that's what's going to be in week 2. And again, I'm not going to go too far ahead, just let you know. So week 1, you're going to just give me intro information. Week 2, you're going to tell me, basically summarize the academic information, and that sets you up for writing your draft of your paper, and then of course doing your final paper and presentation at the end. So that's where you're looking at going forward. So I hope this introduction has helped you. Again, go to www.facebook.com/information.cafe, all small, and that will access the SWAY files for you. Watch your emails for instructions, and if something happens where you don't get your emails, like it goes to a folder or something, you can always access all these emails through the announcement section in Blackboard as well. And welcome to the class, and I hope we make it a little bit fun, but again, you're going to learn a lot, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.